Hi, my name is James. I'm a personal trainer and a 4th Dan instructor in Shotokan Karate, and today I'm going to be talking to you about your foot position when you're kicking. So when we're kicking, our foot position is particularly important. Okay, that's where we make our contact with our opponent or the pad. Now, if you're doing a thrust kick, naturally you want to be kicking with the heel to generate as much force as you can. If you're doing a snap kick or something along those lines, then you're going to be hitting with a different part of the foot. Now, snap kicks, it's generally not so bad. Most people understand the basic principles of where their foot should be. However, with thrust kicks, it's a little bit different. Now, we're typically used to seeing our snap kicks coming straight up and our toes pointing forwards. Okay? However, when we do a thrust kick, our toes should be pointed back so we can hit with the heel. And it's the same when we do our side thrust kick as well. Up to the side and out, our toes should be curled back. That way we can make contact with the heel and thrust through using all the power of our legs. However, what we do tend to see is the opposite. People do a thrust kick with their toes forwards, or they'll do a side thrust kick with their toes forwards, okay? And now this is incorrect, okay? What will happen is if you do that, you're going to make contact with your toes first, and your calves will absorb some of that impact, and then it will roll down onto your heel and then push through. Now, as I said, that's going to absorb some of the impact, meaning that you're not going to create as much power as you possibly can. You're not going to push your opponent back or the pads as much as you can. Now, for some people, this could just be a lack of practice, and you can just focus on curling your toes back a little bit more and you'll be fine. But for some people, this is something that they just cannot physically do yet. Now, most people do not have a problem with pushing with the ball of the foot when they're doing their front snap kicks and things like that, because they naturally can use their calves to push down, to extend the foot out and push. Okay? Now, they might hit with their toes if they're kicking upwards using the flat of the foot, fair enough. However, other kicks like a moshigiri or a roundhouse kick can be in this position here, or you can curl the toes back and try to hit with the ball of the foot again. It all depends on your experience, your ability, and what you find most comfortable. However, if you're going to be doing a roundhouse kick or kicking straight up using the ball of your foot, then this will apply as well, okay? Because you still want to be able to curl your toes back and you still want to be able to pull your feet upwards towards your knees. Now, this foot position doesn't seem particularly natural, okay? Using our calves is, okay, we're light on our feet, we bounce around, we walk around all day, so we're constantly using our calves. But we don't walk on our heels. We're not pulling our toes right up and walking around, waddling about all day, okay? So we're not used to using the muscles to be able to pull our feet up, okay? And this is where people find that it's unnatural and they struggle to be able to do this. And now this is just one of the explanations for this problem, okay? It can be a weak tibialis anterior. Now, this is the muscle that runs down your shin and allows you to flex your foot and curl it straight up. So when you're doing your thrust kick, you would be coming out and you would be pulling your toes towards you to be able to use this muscle and therefore expose the heel and be able to push through that more efficiently. And the same principle applies for when you're doing your thrust kick, or if you're kicking upwards in this direction. So let's say you're trying to come underneath the chin, you want to pull your toes towards you so that you can expose the ball of your foot. Otherwise, you're going to stub your toes into your opponent or the pad, and that's going to hurt. As I mentioned, this is a typically weak muscle, and it's not something that you typically work unless you're really focusing on bodybuilding, men's, women's physique, that kind of thing, in which case you might work that muscle just to make it pop out that little bit more. But for most people, it's there, but they don't really know about it. So I'm going to show you a nice, easy exercise to be able to work this muscle and therefore be able to start to curl your feet back. Okay, so one of the first things that you can do to start working the muscle along your shins just here is to practice just lifting your feet up. So you just want to try and lift your toes up towards the ceiling, and if you want to pull them up as well, that'll even help to expose the ball of your foot, which will help with your kicks. Try to keep your weight on one leg and lift the other. Okay, and you should feel that start to really pull right along here, right to just on the outer side of your shin. Okay, and what you can do with that is you can squeeze and hold it and then bring it down. Squeeze it, hold it, and bring it down. Okay, you only want to hold it for 1 or 2 seconds really. Practically, you're not going to be holding it for any longer than that. Okay, what you can also do is practice walking around on your heels if you really want to. Okay, that's a nice silly way of being able to practice this. Okay, so if you want to include that within some of your sessions within the dojo, then you can. Okay, however, a more efficient way of working these muscles is to get a step. Okay, you don't need much of a step, so you can easily use the stairs at home. Okay, you want to hold on to something though. So you want your heels right on the edge of the step. You're going to dip your toes down and then up. So you're going to come down and up. If you need to touch the floor, relax and then bring it up, that's fine. Okay, so if you haven't got anything to hold on to, that's fine. If you really need to, you can do one leg at a time. So you can put the weight through on that one leg and just bend this knee so you can hold your balance. So if you haven't got anything to hold on to as well, you can keep it nice and smooth. Just make sure to lean on the leg that's actually doing the work. Okay, and again, you're going to feel that running straight through the shin. Now the other explanation for why you might not be able to pull your toes back is tight calves. Now most of us tend to have tight calves. If we put our feet together and reach down with our hands to the floor, can you reach the floor with your fingertips and straight legs? Unfortunately, most people can't. So if they're particularly tight, and if you feel like you've got a lot of tension in your calves, then it could be that you need to stretch them out. And that will then allow the muscle at the front of your shins, the tibialis anterior, to be able to work and then pull your calves back. Because at the moment, the muscle's pulling, the calves are so tight that it's resisting each other. So your foot stays in that neutral position or slightly tilted down. So what I'm going to do now is show you a couple of different stretches of how you can stretch out your calves, and that will help you to then be able to create more of a range of motion that will allow you to pull your toes back. So to be able to stretch your calves, one of the things that you can do is bring your feet together and then reach down with your fingertips towards the floor. Okay, now try to take your fingertips to the floor. If you can easily do that, then just bring it down lower. Bring your knuckles to the floor. If you can do that, get your palms to the floor. And then if you can do that, try to get your elbows down. No, I'm kidding. Don't actually try that. That is silly. Okay, if anybody can actually get their elbows down to the floor, they've probably dislocated their spine. Okay, and what you can do from here as well is twist to one side and try to reach down to the floor and then change it round to the other side. Okay, so you'd start off with a maintenance stretch of just 10 seconds with each. So you do 10 seconds to the front, 10 seconds to one side, 10 seconds to the other side. If you want to try and improve your flexibility and do a developmental stretch, then you would hold it for 20 seconds. And then you would try to get a little bit lower, hold it for 10, 20 seconds again, and keep trying to improve that. Okay, so you'd only do it with a couple of times to start with, and again, you would do that on each side as well. Now, this isn't the easiest stretch to do, okay? So what you can do is bend your knees, touch the floor, and then extend your legs as much as you can until you can feel that stretch right through the back of your calves, okay? Alternatively, you can do this sitting down as well, okay? And it's just as easy. So all you have to do is lean forwards, hold onto your feet, and pull them backwards. And likewise, instead of going out to the side and pulling, you can come on the outside of your feet and lift them up. You can also come on the inside of your feet and lift them up. Okay, and you should feel that target slightly different area of your calves. So that helps to give you an overall stretch. Okay, again, if you can't do that, that's perfectly fine. Okay, that's quite normal. You just bring your feet in, hold onto your feet, and walk your heels forwards until you can feel the stretch on your calves. And if you can't lift the heels off the floor, don't worry either, that's perfectly normal. Okay, as you improve the flexibility in your calves, that will become more prominent. Another thing that you can do is sitting still, you can focus on trying to pull your toes towards you by using the tibialis anterior, the muscles that we've just been working, okay? You can focus on squeezing them as hard as you can to try and pull your toes towards you, okay? You'll feel that muscle squeeze and you'll also feel a bit of a stretch on your calves, okay? Particularly if you're just starting out. If you're particularly flexible in your calves, then you won't feel this as much because you probably lack the mobility in your ankles to be able to really stretch the calves out, which is why you need that extra help with your hands. So that will help you to have a better stretch. But to start with, if you want to work the muscle and stretch at the same time, then this is a great way of doing that. So you bring your feet together and just pull your toes back as much as you can. Now for some of you, it might not be one or the other. It can be a case of both. You know, if you're not activating the muscle at the front of your shin very much, if you don't know how to use it, that's fine. That's not an uncommon thing. But also, it's not uncommon to have tight calves as well. So you might need to work a little bit of both. In which case, just do both of these and you'll learn to work it a little bit more efficiently. So if you feel like you're struggling with being able to pull your foot back, then make sure to give these a try and see over a period of weeks how it can help you. Now combine it into a leg workout or a general routine that you can do at home. It's nice and easy. This will only take you 5 minutes if this is all you're doing. Just make sure to warm up the muscles first before you do any of the TA raises or the reverse calf raises. So hopefully you've enjoyed the content and you found it useful. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up to support my channel. You can also follow me on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, and make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel for even more content just like this. Thank you for watching and I'll see you next time.